We're talking football. You didn't think I could catch it. See that? Great hands. Great hands. David Diehl is going to be here in a couple of seconds, but first a look at Giants minicamp.
I'm Madeline Burke here alongside Paul Dottino at Quest Diagnostics Training Center, and Giants rookie minicamp is officially wrapped and in the books. One of the things that we saw out here was the debut of Giants rookie quarterback, number 6 overall draft pick, Daniel Jones.
Jones was very poised. He threw the ball very well, had no trouble with these infamous Meadowlands wins. But I think the thing that really impressed the coaches is how well he was picking things up. And he knows he also has a lot of work to do when he gets that little bit of time off between the next reporting date.
Coming back, the week after next, it'll be, we'll be with the veterans, and obviously you'll be expected to be on that page, so I'll have a whole lot to do next week for sure.
Now, Daniel Jones, of course, one of 77 rookies in the building this weekend, 23 of which are draft picks or undrafted free agents the Giants have signed, and we've seen a lot. There are also 3 first-round draft picks in the house.
Yeah, let's talk about the other 2 for a second. Dexter Lawrence at about 345 pounds.
Calling himself Big Dexy.
So he came into the building and actually turned himself on an angle to get through the door because he was so wide. And then you look at DeAndre Baker as well, out of Georgia, the cornerback, who is just very feisty, very confident. You can already see him as he is attacking pass plays out here during the minicamp.
Now, of course, Dave Gettleman pointed out he thought that Baker was the best cover corner in this draft. The Giants traded back into the first round to get him. Now, as rookie minicamp ends, there's a week between when they're reporting with the rest of the team. But Pat Shurmur says that timing was actually intentional.
This weekend, we give them a certain amount of scheme. They see how we function. Here's your locker, here's your helmet, here are the meeting rooms. This is how we move around. And so they get oriented on that. And then we'll be able to give them their iPads and all their materials. And so then they'll go away, and we'll be able to monitor how well they look at the stuff. And so when they come back, we can coach them up on how they can do that better.
Now, Madeline, Coach Shurmur will still have some work to do because he'll no doubt be in communication with some of these rookies as they have questions for him during their time away from the facility.
Absolutely, and it's been fun seeing these guys hit the field for the first time, but a lot remains to be seen from this rookie class. From Paul Dottino, I'm Madeline Burke from Quest Diagnostics Training Center.
So a bit of a look at Giants minicamp there as we say hello to the former Giants offensive lineman, David Diehl. David, thanks so much for dropping by.
My pleasure. Great to be on the new show with you guys.
There you go. We got night 1 in the books. We're here for night 2, so at least we're still on the air.
Straight from the Derby, right out of Kentucky.
You know what you call that's a streak, is what you call that.
Yeah, well, let's keep it rolling.
You were at minicamp a little bit. Any impressions?
Obviously that's one thing you want to see. It's hard to sit here and really diagnose when you're not in helmets, you're not in shoulder pads. But when you look at these rookies and when you look at Daniel Jones, he definitely looks the part. I know that people are going to downplay, well, some of these guys may not be in camp regular. They were rookie minicamp. They're filling bodies. But being a player in that locker room and as an organization, as a coaching staff, you know when you get somebody on the field if they look the part, if they look like they belong. And that's something that we've been involved in even as a player. You see somebody drafted at a certain position, and it's glowing that they weren't valued at the right spot or they weren't all that they were meant up to be. The way that Daniel Jones came in with all the controversy and everything behind him, he went in and performed and did exactly what he's supposed to do on this type of pressure. Now, in 2 weeks, when the veterans are there, when they're all together, that's really going to be the true evaluation period.
No, I mean, look, there's probably no question he can play.
Yeah.
He played at a high level. He played at Duke. He clearly has talent. But I think the debate continues to be not whether or not Daniel Jones is going to be a good NFL quarterback whenever that time comes. It's at 6. Was that exactly what the Giants should have done where they are as a franchise right now, knowing that Eli has at least 1 more year, if not more, he wants to play more, knowing players such as Josh Allen, the edge rusher, or even Jonah Williams, the tackle from Alabama, were right there to be had and could have been immediate impact players.
And that's something that everybody talked about, including Giants fans at home. The reason why they were upset, they wanted a quarterback, but they just didn't think the value at 6 was there when you have Josh Allen, a premier pass rusher who can aid this defense, especially when you lose through trade Olivier Vernon, which I thought was a great trade of getting Kevin Zeitler in return.
Right.
But you still need to replace that position. In the Giants' favor, in regards to Dave Gettleman, if you know that you love a guy and you believe that he is, you're not going to take any risks. But when you look at the last 2 years and the messages that were going out about the hog mollies, about building from the inside out, I think that's where everything was distorted. So when you look at the quarterback position, people are asking now, when's Daniel Jones going to play? If you look at since 2008, there have been 32 quarterbacks drafted in the first round.
Wow.
15 of them started week 1. 24 of them were starting by week 5. Only 2 of them redshirted. And you're looking at Jake Locker behind Matt Hasselbeck in Tennessee, which we know that didn't work out. And the other one is Patrick Mahomes. So even saying that and saying that there's not pressure and he's in the best position, he is in a pressure situation when you're number 6, when you're going to be the one taking over the franchise, and especially when it's going to come down to performance and the Giants winning football games and seeing the way that Eli performs.
You, of course, were on 2 Giants teams that won the Super Bowl.
Yep.
You did all of this, had a great career after being drafted in the 5th round. You've been very vocal about the fact that go easy on Daniel Jones because, hey, look at me, right? Mel Kiper not necessarily talking about you, although he was high on Daniel Jones. The point is, when you draft players, you really don't know how things are going to turn out. And you're an example of
Exactly. Me being a 5th-round guy, I had 5 different players drafted specifically to take my position through 11 seasons, regardless of whether we were in the playoffs or won a Super Bowl the year before. That's part of being in the NFL. But I think when it comes to the evaluation process, part of it is the media's opinion weighing in when they're not always the ones breaking down each and every film, each and every game tape that this player has gone through. And let's face it, Daniel Jones didn't decide where he was going. He was selected by the New York Giants. So at some point, the way that he stepped up and already handled it, it goes to show you the maturity. Secondly, the day that he got interviewed and we talked to him that night, one of the most impressive things compared to any other prospects I talked to when I've talked to him about teams, he knew exactly which GM, which scout, which personnel talked to him, who were there at the pro days. When I interviewed other offensive linemen or other prospects going into the NFL draft, oh, what coach? Well, they couldn't remember the coach's name.
Attention to detail.
Attention to detail. And that plays such a big thing when you're talking about looking at the quarterback position and the way he guides the other 10 guys in the huddle with him.
Now, look, as a Jets fan, I'm glad the Giants took Saquon Barkley last year. But also, Daniel Jones is not the only first-round pick the Giants have.
Yeah.
Dexter Lawrence obviously is going to make a difference for them defensively. Baker as the cornerback as well. So this class for David Gettleman was all about filling a lot of holes on this roster.
And he's going to be defined by these last 2 classes because of the magnitude of the selections and the picks that they put on it. If you want to go back to last year, those picks worked out. Will Hernandez improved dramatically. Saquon Barkley did as well. We saw Lorenzo Carter at the end of the season adding on to that pass rush specialty that we thought he would be. Now you put him with X-Man, O'Shea Nixmenis, who's the other opposite, who's a premier pass rusher. Now you've got some opposite guys that can go with it to that defensive side of the ball. Football is won by big men. Dexter Lawrence is the perfect guy to do that. First and second down, to be able to clog up holes in a 3-4 defense, to let your linebackers run. That's what you're looking for. And when people talk about athleticism, at 3:45, he ran a faster 40 time at the combine than Dwayne Haskins. That goes to show you what type of player and type of body he is. And then we know that it's been a revolving door in the secondary with the injuries and with people through free agency. Now you bring in a caliber corner that can also move inside, who has versatility in that defense that we know is better than some of the secondary that the Giants have had the last 2 seasons.
Tell you what, when we have a show that's 150 minutes, you're a great guest to have.
Thank you very much.
Turn the lights down because that ring is sparkling.
Can I get this? Is it going to come off?
No. You got to earn that ring. Yeah, you don't just take that off a man's hand.
You can get it out of my comfy grip. Nah,
Super Bowl is
this
that
is
from?
46.
Bill, 2 hands, Bill, 2 hands.
It doesn't fit me too well.
And that's the index finger, too. That's the great thing.
Doesn't work there either.
Oh, boy.